Hi, let's go live. We're live. All right, welcome to the live stream, everyone. We've got Scott and Jerry here in the studio. We're gonna warm them up with some conversation, and we'll get right into the podcast.
Warmed up with conversation.
But it depends on where you guys want to go. But we took a trip, Jerry. I don't know if Scott, you want to tell Jerry about our trip or?
Jerry, we took a trip.
I know you guys have heard
we
about a
went
trip.
to Oklahoma City, which I think was my first time in Oklahoma City. We were at the headquarters of Hobby Lobby, which was very impressive. Very impressive. And I guess the other things that stand out kind of as highlights of the trip, we weren't there long, but we had the opportunity to go to a minor league baseball game.
Nice.
We visited the Oklahoma City bombing memorial, which it was sort of fascinating to me because I was with, Steve, Aaron, and Josh. All of them were too young to remember.
James McVeigh, is that his name?
I think it was Timothy.
Timothy McVeigh. That's it, Timothy.
But I think too young to remember, like, seeing that as a live news story, only
Yeah.
hearing about it in kind of later retrospect. But
I was like 6 or something.
yeah, I can really remember when that happened.
Me too.
And I mean, it was a very big deal in its time. Probably the memory of it has faded for most of the country, especially because I realized that even people who are in their mid-40s might be too young to really remember the actual incident.
Death penalty happened pretty quickly for him.
Oh,
Then I
wow.
guess, we
They expedited it.
we weren't
Okay.
messing around.
For whatever reason, I thought, like he died in the bombing. I had no idea. Okay. Yeah, see, I don't even know anything about the story. So it was nice to see. Like, it was very serene, very, especially I went in the morning and at night, so I went twice.
Yeah.
But you know the story, right? They had, at the place where he bombed, the part that got people was all their children were there at like a daycare that was included in that building. So when he bombed it, he not only killed the parents, he killed their children.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
And that's why there was such public outrage.
Oh, wow.
And that's why the death penalty was meted out quickly.
Yeah.
And the thing that I really recall, I mean, I don't know, because if I think about national outrages, I'm sure the assassination of JFK ranks way up there
Probably.
if people have that in their memory bank. Of course, the number of people who have that in their memory bank is also fading. Got to be a certain age to really have that in your memory bank. But to me, that Oklahoma City bombing might be the next,
Second place.
until 9/11.
9/11.
Once 9/11 happened, then Oklahoma City kind of faded into the background. It just wasn't the same. But I don't, at least in terms of like national outrage, how could this possibly happen in our country? The size of the news story.
You got 9/11, you've got that, you got JFK, maybe Martin Luther King Jr., maybe, and then Pearl Harbor.
Yeah.
I would think those would be your...
And for, there's almost nobody who's going to have Pearl Harbor in their active memory bank anymore.
Well, even 9/11 people don't have in their active memory bank.
Well, a lot of people don't, right?
Right.
What do you mean?
Like, they were
9/11.
born after, like, take Ethan Cohen.
All
yeah.
the high
California.
school kids
Yeah,
I
yeah.
work with,
Oh,
college
sure.
kids, they have no idea.
Oh, I have 9/11 seared into my brain.
yeah.
It's crazy.
That's right.
It's like, so that was an interesting time. I was middle school, and I remember the teacher crying and wheeling out
Yeah.
a TV
yeah.
set, and she was crying, and I was like, "What is happening?" And we stopped drama class, and we all sat in a circle and just watched this TV of this, like, what is happening?
Yeah.
Crazy. What a crazy day.
That was nuts.
Then the other thing I remembered as I was there in Oklahoma City, just thinking about the mid-'90s, because I think this happened in 1995. My recollection is that O.J. Simpson, that whole saga was sort of right in that same time frame as well, maybe a little before. I think the trial of O.J. Simpson would have just have finished, and then Oklahoma City came next. And there's really no way to describe to people who weren't really aware of it or alive at that time how big O.J. Simpson was. I think like everybody in America watched O.J. with his Ford Bronco down the highway.
Bronco down the highway. Do you know
And-
those pictures?
I don't know the pictures. No.
Oh, he's going down the highway. Nobody's around him.
Yeah, that's
He's
right.
got his buddies driving, and they're afraid he's going to kill himself in the back. So the cameras are kind of panning into the car, seeing if he'll shoot himself.
Yeah.
And all the police are behind him,
And
like
every
diagonally.
person in America's watching this.
And they're all on the bridges. When they go under bridges, there's all tons of people.
Like he's on the run?
he's on.
Oh, yeah, it
his
was on the run.
I had no idea. I have no idea.
on-
Oh,
slow-
Jake's got it. Here, let's play.
slow jog.
I have like
That's
zero
crazy.
idea.
Oh, in terms of news story, this O.J. Simpson thing was. Yeah,
I was
okay,
sitting
here we
on
go.
the floor in my living room with my daughter on my lap, watching this unfold.
Wow.
Yes, and everyone
at this, look at this.
was.
Look at, just crazy. And that Bronco was for sale. Somebody bought it for a bunch of money.
So he's just,
KCALR.
this is live there. Everyone's just watching this.
Police believe
Look at that.
that O.J. Simpson is in that car. Now they're telling me that they believe that this vehicle is registered to Al Cowlings, one of
Al Cowlings, that's
O.J.'s
it.
oldest friends, a teammate at Southern Cal.
So, I could see why people would be watching this.
So, and it was like an open question, like, where are they going? How's this going to end?
That's it. It was a made-for-TV live stream.
Okay,
What,
once
what's at the end there, Jake?
Oh, the most replayed?
Yeah.
The intersection is
Look at
at all
that.
the
Look at
people.
that.
and now making his left turn westbound on Sunset.
All right,
There are people trying to stop him.
into the driveway.
Yep.
Someone is going to the door right now, Eric.
Okay, we're pulling up.
you've never seen this.
No, I've never seen this.
What I can see, we've just turned the corner. It's total chaos here. Motorcycles, black and white, people running around, officers getting out of their cars.
Boy, it just gets me in the gut just watching this.
Yes.
Why does it get you in the gut?
Because 2 people were killed
Let's see
Oh.
what happens now. We'll watch with
brutally.
This is the
And OJ
driver's side.
probably was the dude.
So he killed his ex-wife.
Oh, for the
he
actual
killed his
trial.
ex-wife and her boyfriend. basically.
Whatever he was.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
Goldblum.
yeah. I know about that. I didn't know about. I didn't know.
This leads up to it. Once,
No, so the murders happened at this point.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
They've realized OJ's implicated. He gets in the car and does this whole thing wherever. I mean, the whole nation stopped. Everyone who was alive was watching that.
and then
Yeah, I would
they,
be too.
they filmed the entire court. And
So that
like-
was what was crazy. Is there'll
Never
never
happened
be
before.
anything like this again.
No.
Every single person was watching every day this trial.
Yeah. I could imagine. Jake, have you seen
And
that?
the whole trial was like a whole spectacle itself.
The trial was just a mishap of misadventures. The police mangled things.
Yeah.
Then his guys.
Yeah, I've heard about this.
He hired
There's
the
defense
dream team,
attorneys. There was like a dream team of defense attorneys.
and they kind of screwed. I mean, it was just
Everything was-
chaos.
yeah.
It was like
If the
But
glove
everyone,
doesn't
it was
fit.
like the daily soap opera that everyone was watching. Was
so
into.
uncomfortable.
When they finally had the verdict, I doubt. I mean, I would be willing to say that 80% of our population was just glued to the TV, watching the verdict.
One of my youth group kids. He lived in Miami, and one of my youth group kids was his pool guy. So he said I'd always see OJ. Kids went to Gulliver, which was a neighboring school to where Westminster is. So they would see him after he was acquitted. They'd see him driving through the neighborhood, going to play golf.
Wow.
Yeah.
But so what was the nation reaction? What was your guys' reaction when the verdict dropped?
Well, he's guilty.
Everybody. So everybody knows he's guilty,
Yeah.
but he's not guilty.
But what was your reaction? Like you said, this hits you in the gut. Did it like,
She was a young woman,
yeah.
his wife. Yeah. And he didn't just murder her. It was brutal.
It was
Whoever did this.
brutal.
And there's blood everywhere. And the young dude who was returning, what was it, glasses or something, was like in the wrong place in the wrong time. Whether there was a relationship there or not, who knows?
It
But
seemed like there was.
whatever. But he died.
Were you-
And so in the court case, they show his family in the background.
Yeah, the
periodically.
Goldman family. You'll never forget the Goldman
The
family.
Goldman family. And then they sue him.
They
and-
sued and won.
But they've not gotten anything because then he died. Because then he ended up in jail. Remember?
Yeah, he
OJ
finally
ends
went
up
to jail because he was trying to like steal his own memorabilia.
get his own memorabilia.
Oh,
that his
like
mom
yeah,
had sold.
yeah.
Well, I think what happened was
Crazy.
he ended up being not guilty. He had to continue living his life. He had zero income potential from this whole thing. So then he was like trying to sell all his old memorabilia to make money. And apparently, was it in Vegas? He broke into somebody's hotel room and stole his own memorabilia. The police caught him and he went to jail for that.
He used a gun.
Yeah.
So he threatened the guy with a gun. Once you did that, you're done.
That's right. And so, to some extent, then the nation,
Breathe a sigh of relief.
because he was in jail.
Karma gets you.
Yeah. It's like, well, we couldn't get you when you murdered your ex-wife and her boyfriend, but we did finally. But I also think it's fascinating that, like, okay, so the entire nation's watching this trial, and everybody knows he did it. Okay?
Yeah.
But the jury can't see what the nation sees.
What's the nation?
Because some evidence is, not presentable to the jury, and so the jury is only seeing what gets presented. So, like, the judge is making decisions about.
Yeah, it's like a biblical story where we know what happens to the character, but the character doesn't know.
And I think there's like these famous moments too. You gotta watch this. This is a
If
famous
it
moment
fits,
of the
you must
trial.
acquit.
Yeah, that's it. If the glove doesn't fit, you must acquit.
Yeah.
And somehow or another.
When he puts the glove on it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I seen that. I seen that picture. He was
Yeah.
like, I
we
can't
gotta
do
watch
it.
that video. You gotta watch
And
that
then
video.
there are shoes.
And then he's like,
that
doesn't
were
fit.
only size 13 that there only could have been his. With bloody prints. And,
Brett
it
brought
just,
Jeez.
Brett said there was a book apparently that he wrote saying it's called
if I did it.
Yeah, if I did it.
And
He
it
wrote
said-
a book?
It was
If I did-
psychologically
Pay for
reviewed.
It's
life.
fictional. If I had killed her, here's what I would have done. And it
Yeah.
lays out what he did.
He said culturally it became a symbol of finally someone getting away with someone because so many people have been framed, and they celebrated it in some communities.
People
And,
celebrated it? So, like, what was the.
Well, I mean, think what's going on, too. You got
Okay.
racial stuff happening.
Rodney King. Rodney King.
Racial
just get
stuff,
along?
Too.
I think Rodney King was just before OJ. That was
And
part of
his
it.
wife was white, right? So he's black and his wife was white. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, so you had all the possible scenarios
Oh my
came into
goodness.
play.
It was like, it's hard to overstate how much this country was tuned into this.
And OJ was the dude. He was the first guy to run over 2,000 yards in a season.
People loved him. It'd be like if Michael Jordan right now.
He was a
or-
movie star.
Yeah.
He did Hertz commercials where he'd run through the airport
Yes.
and jump over things.
Yeah, he was so.
He was everybody's
well-known.
buddy. And then all
This
of a
is
sudden,
incredible
here we
that
go.
I have zero knowledge
yeah.
of who he is and all of
This
this stuff.
was the mid '90s. So, I think the reason I said this is like Oklahoma City was right in the same,
Yeah.
couple of years.
What the nation was probably outraged by the verdict, right? Like but they didn't have any outlet to express this.
And you didn't have computer.
Well, there was nothing you could do.
Yeah, there's nothing.
You're just
you can
watching it on TV.
Yeah, you can't
So there was
go
no
to
social media where
online.
people
No
could
social media.
comment to each
No,
other.
there's none of
Social
that.
media would have made. Can you imagine?
Would
What
have
a
been
mess
something.
that would have been.
All right, let's watch it.
Yep.
Oh, here we go. Oh, this is just. It's like going to the dentist all over. Oh.
I've seen this. Yeah. Oh, doesn't
He's
fit.
got those gloves underneath.
Well, he's got those rubber gloves on. They're not going to slide on anyway. He's making the faces.
Yeah, what an iconic moment this was.
Keeps doing this.
Yeah, it doesn't fit. Yeah.
We ask him to straighten his fingers and extend them into the glove as one normally might put a glove on.
I object to this statements by counsel.
All right, he appears to have pulled the gloves on, counsel.
And everybody in America is watching this.
Everyone's glued to the TV.
And everyone's got responses, like we're having even now.
Yeah.
However many years later. Like, look what he's doing.
Yeah, I could even
Just
sense
the
the
fact-
jump. Like I'm decades removed from this. I'm
Just
like,
the fact
what's
that we
going?
still remember the line: "If the glove doesn't fit,
If it
you
doesn't
must
fit,
acquit."
you must acquit.
That's a
That's a
bar
good
though.
line.
That's a bar. I mean, like I don't
Well,
know.
that's why he paid all those guys all that
Oh,
money.
these lawyers.
And then you watch those lawyers die over time.
Oh.
One was the Kardashians' father.
Yes.
Yeah, I heard
Kim
about this.
Kardashian's
Yeah.
dad.
Yeah.
And so that sort of brought them into national fame.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then another guy, I forget his name, Johnny, whatever he was. And he died.
So
there
okay,
were
look.
three of
Johnny
them.
Cochran.
Johnny Cochran.
So
Say that we know these names.
Yeah. And then the third dude
Johnny Cochran is the one who had the line.
and then
If
a
the
guy
blood-
with 3 names, I think.
And then you had the prosecutors who were like Marcia.
Oh, that's right.
Like they were sort of like just prosecutors, and then they had this dream team of like defense lawyers.
Yeah, and she over time changed from like she like got all glamored up.
Yes.
So her what she looked like when the thing started, a normal person, to what she looked like now, she's a movie star.
Oh,
Because it
lot
was
of pressure
playing,
on her.
I mean,
Yeah.
she became a famous
Marcia.
person, and there was another fellow who was part of that whole thing.
Yeah, I
too,
just
right?
remember the cop. Remember the cop who
Oh yeah,
kind of screwed things up?
Shapiro.
Shapiro.
Yeah, and then what was the name of that cop that had it all messed up?
I don't know, but he certainly paid a price later.
Yes, he did.
what happened to that guy?
But he just tampered with evidence.
Yeah,
it
there was
looks
just like. So the thing was, like, it's obvious he did it. We all watched him in the Bronco, like
Marcia Clark. Thank you.
We all watched him in the Bronco. We
I don't
all
remember
know he
Christopher.
did
I'd
it.
have to see Christopher.
But like when the police went through the evidence, some things weren't admissible. So we know what that evidence is because we're watching it on TV. The jury doesn't know about it.
Oh, and then there's another character who's in the background, Cato. Remember?
Yeah, Cato. That was like living in his house.
He's like living in the house, and he's a sort of movie star, sort of B, C, and he's in the background. And is he guilty? And then they bring in, he's got a grown son. Did his grown son do it for his father?
That's so crazy.
And the grown son ends up dying.
I heard about this name Cato, but I don't know the references.
Yeah,
you know, like people
Cato.
reference these things in like
I'd forgotten about
I don't know,
Cato.
social
He had
media or
long hair,
something.
sort of like movie star look.
They're like,
and he's in
Cato.
the background, like it's like this great novel where this dude's hiding out in the corners.
Pull up Cato.
Oh,
Cato
that's
Kalin.
crazy. I think it's just
K-
K-A-T-O. That'd be what I'd say.
Cato Kalin.
I don't know, man. That name is referenced somewhere, and
I'm sure
I'm like,
it
I didn't
is.
get the reference.
He's like, dude, where's my surfboard? He's just living in OJ's house.
Yeah.
Jeez.
And then there's this big
And so he's
knife
like
they find.
testifying. I don't remember exactly, but like the bumps he heard in the night and OJ coming in.
He's
And,
got to have the long hair up there. I see him in the top there. There he is.
yeah, there he is.
That's the guy. There he is.
Dude.
Look at that.
Theo Vaughn.
Theo Vaughn. Yeah. Okay. So let's try to.
So there was this whole cast of characters. There was a whole
Mark.
cast
That's
of
the guy.
characters.
That's the cop's name. Mark what?
Mark Furman.
Furman.
Yeah, as soon as he said Mark, I got it.
Wow.
Were you
This just was an overwhelming experience.
Yeah.
were you a pastor at the time?
I was.
What were you?
I was like in my early 20s.
Okay, so you were in
Late teens, early 20s.
Nigeria or college?
No, I was in college.
College.
Chasing a woman
So, Jason.
Got him.
So,
in Oklahoma City.
Jerry, how did you, as a pastor, address this? Did you react to this? Did you preach on it? Did people it didn't matter?
But certainly it mattered.
Everyone was talking about
Yeah,
this,
yeah.
Aaron. There's no possible way for us to explain to you how big a story this was,
Yeah.
how much it was part of every.
Sure.
The trial was on every day. It lasted forever.
So you can't really preach on it. You don't want to celebrate this.
No.
But you know it's there in the background.
It's
so I couldn't
there.
tell you specifics.
What's the church's reaction? Let's say something like this happens. So obviously I'm not part of this, but let's say something like this happens in the future. Well,
I
what's
can't
our
say that it ever could again.
Well, we're in a different world because of the computer,
Yes.
social media. So here's where everybody was just sort of talking, but it's not like you could get online and read. So it just would be a different animal.
So what's the church's response to like the community's captivated by a story or an event?
It was.
How do we respond? Like give me a lesson for a young pastor
Well,
hasn't.
when it's an individual, 9/11 gets a whole different response.
Yes. 9/11 is completely different.
That one is affecting a nation.
Yeah.
This is a minor story that happens to have a major character, and
but
so it takes on a life.
It was like somehow or another it captivated the culture.
Right. Well, because
it's the
you have a
story,
beautiful
it
white
was
woman
the-
and a
yeah.
black man. You have a black man who's wealthy. You have a black man who.
And he's so
Everybody
well known.
Yeah,
OJ
he's loved.
is-
And loved, and
he's
loved.
the most. I think he was like the most beloved athlete.
Yeah, I would say so.
Alive.
Yeah. Yeah, so you've
And
got
so the shock of, and there wasn't a computer world yet. There was a TV world.
Mm-hmm.
And the fact that you could watch this Bronco going down the highway.
and that's what did it. Once you got the Bronco going, that is just the most bizarre thing in the world. That all of a sudden he's not
It's
even
live.
found guilty.
We're-
They're talking about maybe OJ did it, and all of a sudden he runs.
Yes.
And they think he's going to kill himself.
Right.
So he's got to be guilty, or you don't run. And he's in the back with a gun. And will he get down the highway and just all of a sudden you'll see in the back of the truck, boom, and it's over.
And we're all watching it. Everyone's
Yeah.
watching it.
And so the bridges are full. He goes around those corners. You see all these people.
And then what ended up happening, and I think this was the key, is they decided to give unfettered access to the trial.
Yeah, they know what to
So
do.
the TV cameras were on the whole trial. And I don't know. There was just, okay, up until that time, there were not like court case TV shows. All the court case TV shows we have now were
Judge
you can get
Judy.
in- No, there was.
You'd have to
No, I
watch
don't mean
Perry
that.
Mason
There
if
was
you know
like the
Perry
People's
Mason.
Court. There was the
Yeah,
People's Court.
no real live people.
But what
stuff.
I'm saying is like, you know how on like CNN, I don't know what it's called, but like they'll show trials or they'll show.
Oh, okay. I don't know.
There was nothing. No one ever had like, let me view this murder trial on
yeah.
TV before.
Yeah, because they do sketches now. They do like pictures and stuff.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, the rules changed after this.
So I mean, this was unfettered. The nation, like, you only had so many TV stations. All of them was the trial. ABC, NBC,
Yeah,
CBS,
the big one.
Fox. Like,
CNN would have been a big thing at that
that's
point.
right. I think CNN probably. I mean, this was probably
That
their,
might maybe brought
put them on the map.
Yeah, that's very possible.
Yeah,
That'd be
we just
interesting to know.
watched Larry King, so that's probably
Yeah.
true.
CNN wasn't even a CNN thing. But
Well, not a big
This
thing.
is how big it got. Like,
Wow.
Because
let's
now
say,
everybody's
let's say
watching
you're,
it. 'Cause
It made
they've
people-
got the coverage all
it
the
made
time.
people
let's
money.
say you're going to get your oil change. You go get your oil change in the waiting room. There's a TV. What's on? The trial.
Yep.
Let's say you're. No matter where you were, that trial was on.
Unidad says there's a term called jury vigilantism. He said it was payback for the Ronnie King acquittals.
Yeah.
Right. That's exactly right.
Yeah.
What-
And then Brett kept, he was telling, yeah, I lived in Atlanta when they celebrated Michael Jackson getting off. It was pretty insane. I hate that there's so much hatred out there that they're willing to let bad people get away with that.
Now, you gotta. Can we just. I think this is the story that we can start to get into. Because people don't know this anymore. But the Rodney King. Can you just show that where he gets hauled out of his truck? Because this actually.
Okay.
This was the precursor.
This stuff's horrible.
Okay, I don't.
I mean, just feeling it. Like,
honestly, I don't know anything about Rodney King
Rodney
other
King
than like what rappers rap
But
about.
That the Rodney King thing.
I don't know anything about.
It was all what was going on in culture.
Jeez Louise. I
Yeah,
feel
there's
I'm
a
a millennial and
lot
I
of
feel like
anger.
totally lost with all of this history.
yeah, a lot of anger. You know what? And 9/11 sort of cleared the boards.
I'm sorry,
What's
what?
that?
9/11 sort of cleared the boards. Of
It
that.
did.
Because
9/11
now
So
we had
cleared the board.
We had a bigger enemy, and
Oh, that's true. So
lived in
9/11 is
another-
my start to like
Yeah.
recent
And
history.
so some of the, especially the racial stuff that was going on, and the police, whatever, it sort of
it kind of united the nation,
Correct.
right?
It
It's
did
like
sort of unite the
so
nation.
I certainly grew up in that era where like 9/11 like was very patriotic, and so
You
I
got
grew
it.
up with a deep sense of love for the country because it was everywhere.
yeah.
Yeah.
I was like, I love America. I love
But-
this country.
Did you find Rodney King? I think so, yeah. All right. Let's replay that. We're
Rodney.
we're trying to understand the United States right now.
Look at
Okay.
So what's this? What's happening? Oh, what was that? What did I just watch?
Okay.
L.A. riots. Remember these? Look at that. Look at that.
Oh, she went out.
This is insanity.
That was a haymaker. So what's happening here? Was that like that's not
All right,
Rodney
give
King?
the commentary, Jerry.
I
Help
can't
Aaron
give much
know.
commentary.
Are these just LA
Play
riots? or
a news
something?
story
What is
that
this?
explains the whole thing.
You know, we got a millennial trying to find this stuff too, so he doesn't know what he's trying to find.
That one I know. I certainly know less about than the.
What happened in L.A.?
No, you've got riots going on.
And you had these riots, and this guy gets pulled out of his truck.
Yep. His famous line is, "Can't we all just get along?"
Wait, I don't know what Rodney King is. Can you
Okay,
start like
let's,
with
let's just
Okay.
play a news story. Play the
baseline?
story.
I'm finding something.
Like, what even is Rodney King about?
Race riots.
Okay. I got that because in rap songs they start saying they reference Rodney King.
Oh, isn't that interesting?
For whatever reason, they're like, I'm about to Rodney King you or something like that. And I have no idea what they're talking about. I'm like,
There you
okay, it's
go.
probably something bad.
Well,
Well, no, I'm not saying. I'm quoting like rap songs.
All right.
I got a video.
Just give it 3-4 minute video that explains everything.
Change the nation's attitude toward police brutality when 4 white Los Angeles police officers beat a black man, later identified as Rodney King.
Okay.
All of it caught on camera, footage that would be seen across the globe. And it started a national conversation about racism in America that we are still struggling to resolve today. News Nation's Nancy Liu joining us live tonight from California with more. Nancy.
And Marnie, 30 years means many in Los Angeles weren't even born when the infamous beating happened or during the days of the deadly rioting. The Rodney King case sparked substantial change in police departments everywhere, but some believe not enough has changed. At the intersection of Osborne
30
and
years.
Foothill Boulevard in the Lakeview Terrace neighborhood of LA, there are no signs of its sad significance.
This is where it ended at, right there.
54-year-old Lonnie Pratt is well aware. He grew up in this neighborhood and was training for a security job when News Nation affiliate KTLA obtained this home video of the police beating of Rodney King on this day 30 years ago.
I just got my my security guard permit, and I went to baton training, so I knew every time they hit him, they was breaking something. And it was like, every time they hit him, I was like, whoa.
The footage sparked immediate outrage as the country and the world watched several LAPD officers beating and kicking Rodney King for about 15 minutes.
I thought they were going to kill me. That's what I thought. After they tied me up
That's
like
Rodney
that
King.
and handcuffed me, I thought I was going to die.
The brutality left King with multiple injuries, including
Oh,
a
yeah.
fractured
That's a
skull.
famous
On the night it
image
happened,
right
he was
there.
out on parole for robbery and had led police on a high-speed chase.
Both sides are contributors to what happened.
Longtime residents of Lakeview Terrace remember that night and still have strong opinions.
Non-compliant, but they also overused their power in beating him badly. I mean, he was there in handcuffed and everything. That's enough.
Civil rights advocates say the footage was perhaps the first viral video to change perceptions.
Oh, that's interesting.
That was the first death knell to sort of policing with impunity. The public began to question what the black public had always questioned, and it became unignorable.
A recent analysis by the LA Times found that LAPD officers continue to stop and search people of color at far higher rates than whites. Author Joe Dominic has written extensively about the ongoing reform.
Crazy.
The only thing is that it left out was then you had you saw the race riot that happened afterward where people are getting hauled out of that semi truck, which I think is the most famous image or one of the more famous images to come out of that. So all that to say is then and I don't remember this totally, but all the police who were involved in that, more or less, nothing really happened to them.
We had
Wow.
race riots in Miami too.
Yeah.
There were.
And my little
Because
school,
of this.
my little Bible college was in just outside of Liberty City, which is a predominantly black area. What happened is a guy was on his motorcycle. Police pulled him off, crap out of him, and the riots began. And we were stuck on campus. We couldn't leave. But what ended up, they just started burning all these businesses, and guys from Homestead with shotguns came up and started firing on people.
Whoa.
Yeah. It was pretty. And I
Guys
had a
from
friend-
homes, like police or regular people?
No, they were guarding businesses, but when they had a chance, they would just shoot people. And then the community started ransacking their own businesses, so that made it worse. I remember a friend of mine from Michigan. I was a freshman in college. he had never seen anything like this. He said, I'm going to go out and see what it's like. Well, he drove off campus. He came back with a windshield broken and he was bloody.
Oh.
I was like, well, you're an idiot. But he wanted to see it firsthand.
Sure.
So the tension in Miami was pretty strong. And I worked in Liberty City with middle school age kids. And we would go into some of the projects and pick up kids, and as two little white dudes picking up kids, and periodically we'd get a little bit, but they saw we were there trying to hang out with kids, so they generally let us be. But every once in a while.
Jeez.
So this is kind of interesting remembering all this now, and one of the things that's in my mind is, of course, Bill Clinton was president at the time, and
he was busy in the Oval Office.
Positioned himself as sort of like, I think he even called himself the first black president.
Bill Clinton said that?
Or something like that effect.
Get out of here.
Because he was sort of positioning himself as what would be the right term?
He was trying to win Republicans and Democrats.
Yes.
So he positioned himself as a moderate Democrat who really had the values of the Republicans, and he was a common man who grew up in a single home, so he understood. He wasn't one of these rich guys. He wasn't a Bush.
Okay.
And so therefore, he was more open to hanging out with other races, and he could talk to them.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know if you've ever heard Bill Clinton talk.
I have.
He was a good orator.
He was
Yeah.
excellent.
Got that
if
little
he lied
southern
to you as a
draw.
kid, you'd believe him.
Yeah.
And so he would speak like that with his little bit of a southern twang and his smile, self-deprecating humor. And we so desperately wanted somebody who could draw people together.
Yeah.
And he came across as that guy.
He came across that way, but then I also think like, when was Monica Lewinsky? That's a little later.
82 maybe? Something?
No. We're in the 90s.
Yeah, we're in the
late
90s. Sorry.
I think that's got to be in like 90.
Yeah.
99. I don't know.
I don't remember.
Anyway, the point is, Bill Clinton, on the one hand, was real smooth like that, and then on the other hand, was sort of perceived as a snake. Like, he's the guy who's like jogging to McDonald's to get a burger and is every man's friend, and also the guy who, I don't know. So the point is, there was a lot of things stoked up in the nation, and yeah, in a way, OJ's not guilty also was seen through the lens of race a lot.
Do you think that the 2000s, so we already said like it kind of changed, it wiped the board, it cleaned the slate there, but eventually we went back to it. I think in recent history you have the BLM protests and stuff, and
I got the choking of
George Floyd.
That was how that news clip
That's how I think that's at start. Yeah. So like, was there like that period of like downtime for racism? Like, I don't know, like
9/11.
Yeah. And it just unified everyone.
Yeah, you want to know what this would be just me sort of commenting, and I'm not qualified to do it. So it's all Scott's perception and nothing more than Scott's perception. But if I think about like my parents' generation, lived through the assassination of Kennedy and then Martin Luther King Jr., and they watched school integration in the South, how that went, where like people are protesting against that, police are escorting the kids into the school.
Yeah, a little girl going in all by herself.
That's right. Then I think that was racism. They experienced that at a kind of level that I never experienced. Like, definitely this whole racism thing was big in their generation. Of course, previous generations it was as well. But I think in like the 70s, there was like some amount of breakthrough somehow. But it was always just sort of hanging there. And I think my perception is I consider myself part of Generation X. I think we're probably the first generation that this whole issue of American racism started to have some resolution in, because my parents' generation in the 70s decided not to raise their kids the way previous kids had been raised.
Okay.
So I think there was more I don't know what the right term is, but
See, I don't know how to even address it. I grew up in a black neighborhood.
yeah, okay.
So I would go to the park. That's where I lived. I lived at the basketball park. I'd be the only white guy. And the older basketball players treated me with incredible respect. Never once was race an issue. I did have a bike stolen one time. I had parked it, and I was very proud of my bike. And it wasn't an adult who got on. Some kid got on, and I looked at him and said, "That's my bike." And he looked at me and said, "Not anymore." And that was it. Not anymore.
Yeah, whether you're white or black or whatever, it doesn't matter there.
That could happen anywhere. But these other guys were just so good to me. And I think I've told you the time I was watching football and a guy came out with a gun. There were like 50 guys playing tackle football in this big field, and I'm sitting on the field, and I'm eating a pickle. I'd buy this big pickle, and I just sit and watch these guys play tackle football. I'm sitting on the sideline, 5th grade, little white dude, and I'm eating a pickle. All of a sudden, somebody got mad, and he came out with a gun. And everyone ran. I didn't run. He wasn't after me. He walked right beside me with that gun and just kind of looked at me and kept going. And I thought,
just eating your pickle, little Jerry.
Little pickle. What am I going to do?
And I think now this is interesting too, and I have no way to say anything about it one way or the other than this is still just Scott's perception.
Yeah.
But I think that here in South Florida, my perception is that this whole race thing is a lot less of an issue than it is other places. Like, people are living side by side with each other. And I would say, like, for my kids who grew up here, it'd be very difficult for me to explain what it felt like in the 90s. And my parents would have a difficult time explaining what it felt like in the 60s and 70s.
That's good.
Yeah.
My son Schaefer had a best friend who was an African-American girl. And about 3/4 of the year was over, and he came home one day, and he says, "How come her skin tone is different?" Well, he'd been with her every day, and he never even noticed.
What age?
He was in probably 3rd grade.
Yeah.
Just never even crossed his mind. Now, you look at our school, and because the difference, I think, here is we've got people from the islands.
Yeah.
We've got people from South America.
All over.
So color is different than race. It's just, and so you might be in a classroom and you've got the whole spectrum of colors, and it's just not an issue.
Tegan and my kids, when we make pictures of our family, they have to use different colors.
That's my kids' family.
Because mine is dark brown and hers is like peach, and then when she gets to Kelsey, it's like, just white.
Who's she?
Kelsey.
That's good.
Kelsey's. So it's like, so.
The girl's name is Ruby Bridges, by the way.
Who's that?
That was
The little girl that walked in?
that walked into the school.
How
I've heard
Do you
of
know
this.
what year that is? Because that was in Alabama, right?
Show that
Ruby, that clip.
video.
Yeah, that's as a parent, that's a difficult one to watch.
This is the video that I think affected my parents.
Remember the guy from what was his name? The governor, Wallace.
Yeah.
Well, Jake, you're pulling that up. Tegan is also like, she also started asking about like Brielle or Saran, like, why is their color, or why is their skin color so dark? Or I'm like, it's different colors.
That's great. We used to, at our school, we had kids in class, and we have all these different colors. We'd say, all right, we're gonna give each other like names for our skin tones. And so you celebrate it. I think you celebrate it.
I have trouble. This is probably, I don't know if this is a bad admission or good. I have trouble keep calling them like African Americans.
Yeah,
African. It's too long. I just say they're black.
They're black.
But I don't say it with any kind of like, that's, and Saran says it too. And so I was like, okay, I guess this is like the language that we're
Saran's
using.
not an African American.
Well, yeah, he flips back and forth. We can pull him back on here. We'll pull him back, but he definitely wouldn't say that. With
Jamaican. Bahamian.
Yeah, he would say he's Jamaican for sure. But he flips back and forth. Don't let the man try. He tries me all the time.
Well, like Paul Pierre, we were at the football game last night.
Paul is Haitian?
He's Haitian.
Yeah.
There was a kid playing, and his name was Pierre. And so Kelly looked at him and said, "Oh, it's your cousin." Because all Haitians are named Pierre somewhere.
It's
a lot of Pierres.
The French influence.
All right, you got the video?
Yeah.
All right.
So do you remember this, Jerry? Or is like
Magnitude of that moment did not escape the nation's view.
No, this is before.
6-year-old Ruby Bridges and 4 federal marshals.
This little
We've been
girl is
sent
a
by the
puppet.
President of the United States, and we are here to escort you to school today.
The governor of the state decided that
I will not force my people to integrate against their will.
I didn't want them to go to school with the going through this kind of living hell.
What's
What
wrong
would you
with us?
expect?
Crowds of protesters lined the
Look
streets.
at this little girl.
Teachers at the school refused to instruct her.
Governor George Wallace, who blocked
George
by literally
Wallace, there he
standing
is.
in the door.
I say to keep these kids out of school.
200 people waiting at 8:30 in the morning to tell her they were going to kill her.
Then they had a machine gun beside their guns. They
threatened to poison Ruby.
President of the United States sent troops.
You are one of my heroes. I'm here because of you.
The governor called the National Guard.
All because of just one little girl.
He pulled his gun to shoot. Things were gonna get really worse.
I can't believe this kind of stuff happens.
I would like to know what's happening to her.
Until now, she has never told the full story of what happened to her.
When they knocked on the door, my parents opened the door, and I remember standing there and seeing these 4 very tall white men. I remember them saying that we're federal marshals. We've been sent by the President of the United States, and we are here to escort you and your daughter to school today. I found myself in the car, driving this very short drive to this new school, and the minute we turned the corner, I saw what I thought was Mardi Gras. There were so many people standing out in the middle of the street, and they were screaming and shouting and throwing things.
I draw the line in the dust, and I say segregation now, segregation tomorrow, and segregation forever.
Wow, I can't believe that
The
was
car door
said.
opened, and those
And that's a
federal
good-
marshals, they grabbed my hand, and I remember them saying, "Ruby, walk straight ahead and don't look back."
I say to the mother, keep these kids out of school. All together, we're young people. We don't want them to go to school.
One of the city policemen, he pulled his gun to shoot, and everybody said they knew probably to kill me. So they said if they killed the mother, the child wouldn't have went.
200 people waiting at 8:30 in the morning to tell her they were going to kill her. 200 people in the afternoon telling her they were going to kill her.
The crowd would come, and they would bring
Get that
a
Confederate
small
flag up there.
baby's coffin, and they put this black doll inside of the coffin, and they would march around the school, and I would have to pass it to get inside of the building. And I used to have nightmares about the coffin.
This is a people's movement. It doesn't make any difference whether the major politicians are going to support you or not. If they don't support us in this movement to take back our government and give it to us and let us run our own institutions, those who stand in the way are liable to get run over.
When I got inside of the building, I remember it being very quiet.
I received a call from the superintendent's office and asking me if I would like to take a first grade position. That morning when I arrived, of course, the anger and the hostility was palpable. I was told that if I went downstairs, I would meet my student. So I walked down to a cavernous basement area of the school. Those doors instantly opened, and amidst this towering presence of federal marshals stood the most beautiful little girl one could ever dream of seeing.
Oh my goodness.
Looking so delicate, so unaware of the mantle for change she wore that day. And as I went over toward her to introduce myself, she came forward, and I think she felt she was pretty special. And she was, and she looked that way. She had a beautiful pink dress, party dress. And as I walked over to meet her, her bowed head sort of raised gently, and a little smile came across her face, and then those beautiful big brown eyes that she still has rose to meet mine. And you know, it was a case of love at first sight. How could you not fall in love with a child like that in a moment like that? And so, leaving behind a cameo of the past, Ruby and I held our hands, left them, walked together upstairs to our first grade classroom, and began our solitary adventure.
I remember looking at her and thinking, she's white. I'd never seen a white teacher before. She looked exactly like the people outside. She wasn't.
By the next day, the crowds had doubled.
And they kept pointing at me and shouting. They kept saying, we're gonna poison her, we're gonna hang her. I remember hearing my mom said that she would send me to school and that every day she would sit and pray all day to 3 o'clock until I walked back through the door. And the federal marshals, they met with my parents, and they said, you should prepare her lunch and she should eat it at her desk. They actually thought that I was afraid of being poisoned. And I remember them coming to me and saying, why were you not eating? And why did you lie? And I said, because I want to eat lunch in the cafeteria with the other kids. The minute we got to the cafeteria and they pushed open the doors, nothing but empty tables. There were no kids. And I remember being so disappointed about that. I just knew they were in the cafeteria. I would go into this coat closet to hang up my coat, and every time I went into the closet, I would hear kids' voices. And I would mention it to my teacher, and she wouldn't say anything. And there were days when I would go back into the closet and I would just stand there just to see if I really heard them. And I did. You see, there were white parents who tried to send their kids to school with me. Those white parents had to cross the same picket line that I did, and they were never protected by federal marshals. As they crossed the picket line, the principal would take the kids and she would hide them so they would never see me, and I would never see them. I went up to the principal and I said, why are they not with Ruby? And she said, well, that teacher won't teach her. And I said, well, I will teach them. And so shortly thereafter, they would come and join us for the afternoon.
That lady's a hero. That lady's a hero. Good grief.
Imagine that mother too.
So
that's nuts, dude.
Now think of the Martin Luther King. I'm looking forward to the day when our children can play together.
Yeah.
Now that's real.
I
gotta read these.
That is nuts. Hold on, let me just get my. Hold on. Okay.
So this is what I'm saying is like, so much has changed.
Yep.
In basically a generation or two.
Yeah, 60 years.
If I compare what my parents experienced, what I've experienced, and what my kids have experienced, like my parents were growing up at that time when that was how things were. And then things weren't that way anymore, but it was still simmering. Yeah. That's your Rodney King. That's your OJ. And now...
When you had the civil rights movement going on.
Yeah.
And the thing about Martin Luther King Jr. is that it was nonviolence. If he had been like the Black Panthers, if he'd done something that was violent, this country would be just, it would have been, it would have been a civil war.
Sure.
And he refused to do that. And if you watch, he dies in Memphis. If you watch, there's a video of him 4 days before he's shot where he says, I'm willing to die for this. And then you watch this video and
I saw the video. I saw his speech, the mountaintop one. Yeah.
Yeah. And then he's dead. He just gets killed.
Crazy.
And he, I mean, he just ushers in the attitude that says we're going to do this peacefully. So the people that are getting beat on are the ones who respond peacefully. That's not everybody, but the leader. And he had some followers who disagreed and tried to be a little bit more.
I'm sure they
did.
But
for the most part, he was a strong enough character to keep this thing in line.
You know, there are like several heroes that I'm witnessing here at work, right? Like, to me, Ruby is her name, Ruby Rose or something. Like, I'm not sure. I mean,
the little girl.
The little girl. Like, to me, she was like, I'm not sure if she was. This is gonna sound harsh. I don't see her as the actual hero. I see her as like the catalyst for change. That hero was that old white lady who was teaching. That was, I guess so, yeah. Or the parents that try to send their teacher or their kids to school.
But, and I might not have this history exactly right, but I think this is the case. You know, Kennedy was shot. That was a shock to the whole nation. LBJ, his successor, is the one who is sending the federal troops.
Okay, he's a hero then too, because he's sending like he's making.
Boy,
Well, I don't know about it.
Well,
but he said the federal troops, right?
Kennedy is really, I would say, one of the first presidents after Lincoln, clearly, that the African American would say, this is our president.
That's right. So I think actually, LBJ might have
LBJ
felt
wasn't a
forced
nice guy.
to do this to
Yeah.
carry on
Oh,
Kennedy's
okay.
legacy, but I'm not sure LBJ
I don't think he would
was.
have done it on his own.
No.
Okay. Ooh,
He was
see,
sort of
I don't know.
like,
See, you guys are schooling me. I don't know, no idea about this stuff.
The next person that would do that would be Jimmy Carter.
Okay.
Certainly not Nixon.
So like Jimmy Carter was like a hero for like civil rights movements and stuff.
He's grew up a sort of a poor black guy in Plains, Georgia.
I prayed for Jimmy Carter.
And
so now,
did you?
I think.
Wait, I prayed for him.
This is sort of talking politics.
That's cool.
But I think what happened kind of as we're talking over these politics, Kennedy, then Carter, then Clinton were all seen as like
heroes for reconciliation.
The ones who were pushing this change forward.
Because Reagan had other things to fight. He's fighting communism.
Oh, he was fighting communism.
That's right.
Gorbachev, tear the wall down.
Yes.
1989.
Okay. So let's stick to the topic here of racial reconciliation. I'm
Okay,
sure
let's
we
hear
do.
some comments.
I'm sure we do. Hold on, guys. Before we get to the comments, we'll get to the comments. But I'm just like, you gotta understand. Like and I think I'm like a lot of millennials who don't know the depth of. Like we know we come from a history, but I had no idea about some of these.
But we probably don't
details.
know the depth either.
Yeah, right. So there's generations
So
that
in the
are
60s,
like
I would
before.
have been, we would have been in Africa. So a lot of this I didn't. And then I was in Miami, but I was young enough that I wasn't quite aware. And then I told you my experience from about age. We moved to that house. I might have been 10.
It just
from age 10 on. I was in the middle of it. I just wasn't aware of it.
It seems like a cycle. Great comment. I think each generation, the kind of trouble that was there, the memory of that's fading, and the healing is increasing generation by generation.
Well, think about after the Civil War. If Lincoln had stayed alive, the history would have looked different. And then when Grant comes into power, he really tries to do good. But I think his weakness is he trusts people who are bad dudes. And so he gets sort of blacklisted. And then you see the rise of the KKK. You see the rise of guys who are no longer slaves, but don't have any money. They don't have any land. They don't have any vote.
Yeah.
Is it
you
any
know that
better?
Fort Pierce is the historic home of the KKK.
I heard about this. Yeah.
Yeah, it is.
I heard about this.
It was the historic headquarters
Why?
of the
Who was there?
KKK.
I thought Bedford Forest.
Just sort of
I
look
have
it
to
up
look that
online
up.
here for us, Jake.
Jeez Louise.
So I think the point is, I mean, there's a whole history in Fort Pierce, which is where we're planting our latest church, that was all there. And today, I don't know that people would know it or feel it the way
I don't think so.
The way it once was.
Yeah.
Well, remember, it wasn't that long ago. It was illegal for whites to marry blacks.
How long ago was that?
60s, probably.
Wow.
Maybe a little later. And the law, there may be some states where that's still maybe officially a law. There's a couple, maybe in Virginia, who got married against the law, something like that. And they may have recently died. And that's why I know that story. Yeah.
That's crazy.
It says historical records show the KKK was active across Florida, including Fort Pierce during the 20s, but modern organized chapters do not maintain official physical presence.
No, of course they will.
Obviously, yeah.
Well, they do somewhere.
They were in Fort Pierce.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay, let's go to the comments. Jeez, that's nuts.
It is nuts.
It's like, is this all like? It's all one big cycle? It seems like it's just it's a perpetuating cycle over and over. And the racial reconciliation is like, I mean, hopeless without Jesus, right? Like, let me get to the real end of it. It's like hopeless without Jesus. I mean, the one thing that unites everyone is sin, right? The one thing that unites everyone is our own sin. And so it's constantly this spinning wheel of racism until Jesus breaks the wheel. So.
And the
I'm gonna
church
read
is
the
the
most
place.
recent.
You got it.
Breaks the wheel.
I'm going to read the most recent one first because that was crazy.
Do it.
Brett said White City.
Oh, White City.
He says
We have a white city right what's in Fort Pierce, I guss.
Is that why it was called?
I don't
The
know.
KKK's White City? That's nuts.
It checks
dude.
out.
That's nuts.
All right, so let's go through some of these. Brett really wants me to read this one, so I got to it now. Finally, the two most impactful videos that made them realize video could invoke emotion was the moon landing and Kennedy's funeral. His son's salute. I've never seen that one.
Yeah. His son salute's pretty stark.
That is.
Okay.
And they also in that video they also show an older black man crying. Remember that? Can you picture that? That would be another like really famous shot. I do remember the moon landing. We watched that in school. I was in 2nd grade.
Oh.
Every day we'd pull out a little TV and watch it. And I clipped out everything in the newspaper every morning.
Yeah.
I'd like to know where all those things are, but probably under somebody's house.
Jeez Louise. Is that you could remember all these details from every one of these videos every time you
Well, there's
watch.
certain things that stand out.
Yeah.
And his son, because remember, JFK Jr. Dies in that plane wreck. So when he died, you really lost. You lost sort of the question was, could he take his father's place? He's about a year older than me, and he died. I was in New Jersey, so early 2000s, somewhere in there.
I have the video.
Oh.
Yeah, I'll put it up. Why not?
Matthews, the cortege is to cross the Potomac to the Cemetery of Heroes, Arlington. As the casket is returned to the caisson, there comes a family vignette that must take its place with those memories we hold warm and dear. A gentle reminder from his mother, and John celebrates his 3rd birthday with a soldier's
When you call
farewell
him John
to his
I
father.
know you're in trouble. He's John. Look at.
Jeez. Well, I don't know if like a 3-year-old will capture the emotional weight of something like that.
No, he clearly not.
So that's,
And that family's had so many deaths.
Jeez.
I mean, he had a brother die before that in World War II. So his dad was positioning the older brother, it looks like, to be the politician, and then he gets killed. He's a fighter pilot, but then he joins an experimental group, and they're trying all these different sort of ways to bomb, and dies under sort of mysterious circumstances. And then JFK's the next in line. Then he gets killed, and then RFK's next in line, and he gets killed. And then you've got Teddy, the youngest son, but he has this scenario one weekend where he gets on a wreck in a bridge, and he's drunk, it looks like, and there's a woman with him, and he doesn't report that she's in the car till a day later, and she dies, whether she drowns or not. And
This was on like their island or
yeah, Chat. Yeah.
So
Chapat, but he
Chapapiqua.
Yeah. He is a congressman for years, and he runs for president, but there's no way with that history.
No.
There's all these secrets. And then they have a sister.
Is there like a documentary for the
Oh,
the Kennedy family?
Yeah,
like,
they have a sister, Catherine, who's a little bit. Today we would say she's ADHD, and they did a lobotomy on her. And so at age 21, she turns into a non-entity, and they hide her from the public, and you never hear about her again until she's older. She's non-communicative. So Dad, because the story is because she's spoiling the picture of what the family's supposed to be like, they put her away. It just goes on. And then you've got the next generation where there's stories of rape. One guy dies skiing. He's trying to catch a football, playing catch while he's skiing, hits a tree and dies. I mean,
what?
Yeah.
And now we've got RFK Jr.
Yeah,
we do.
And his
serving
kind of craziness.
for Trump, Health and Human Services.
Yeah, bizarre. And then you have JFK Jr. dying.
Yeah.
So,
are they like just this? Is it how much of this is conspiracy? That's what I'm trying to say.
Well, it depends who it asks.
They get hit, or is this accidents?
You know, some of it is there's a sense that we're invincible. It feels like with the dudes, and so that they make some poor choices maybe. But then you've got the assassinations are crazy. Now there's the conspiracy theories.
Yeah,
I mean, you've read some of them, I'm sure,
I've
about
heard.
Kennedy.
Yeah.
And even RFK.
All right, let's go to the comments here.
Yeah.
I know we
Writing
only
back to one.
we only got to one
We
of
got
Brett's.
one
If we've
comment.
got a lot, then let's see if we can
It's just a lot of going back and forth. Kelsey says the Voice of Martyrs calendar on the wall promoted great convo for her tea. That's how she learned about how people from different parts of the world look.
Oh, like race and stuff.
yeah.
So we have that calendar, and
That's good.
it shows different like people from Malaysia or I don't know, like these countries that we might have never prayed for, and it's cool. Like there's just, like there's a picture of a black dude there or an Asian dude there or whatever. So it's nice.
Video is used to evoke the emotion of the population from Brett. Kelsey said, such an important part of history. It so evidently exposes the human condition. Brett said, now we have the internet.
Yeah.
Which I think goes into that.
So that's just interesting. I like it at taking a look at history at such a quick pace in like this last hour. I just can't help but to zoom out and be like, oh yeah, this is just like one big cycle over and over again. It's like the human condition thing. That's true.
But there is like an element of this that's worth talking about that just got brought up, which is the role of media. And what I mean by that is, when I was in high school, I took a typing class and we used typewriters. When I was in elementary school, we had typewriters that were manual typewriters where you pushed the button and the thing went up and hit the paper and you had to white it out. And then by the time I was in high school, we had an electric typewriter, okay? But for me, it was just a couple of years later, I'm maybe like a sophomore in college, I'm using a computer now to type up my papers. And probably it was probably right around the same time frame, like 1994, 1995. I see the internet for the first time. Yahoo. I can still picture in my mind the Yahoo page coming down the screen, one line at a time. It probably took like 10 minutes to load.
I remember that stuff.
And then...
You gotta hear the dial tone.
What is that? Yes. But now, if I think about like... In my wildest dreams, I couldn't have imagined that I'd carry around a phone that has full access to the internet. Social media gets started with like MySpace. All this stuff was not there when these things were happening in the 90s.
Yeah.
And how different that is. And now
it's talking back
we're
to you.
We're just like, hey, chatty.
And
tell me
doing
this,
things
tell me
for
that.
you. Yeah.
Yeah. So... in the one hand, you see a cycle, but on the other hand, it's also, there's like some aspect of this which is like different every day.
I see a cycle.
I see periods in my life where like, I don't know, as a kid, you wanted to turn the TV channel, you told one of your kids to get up and go
That was your
turn
job.
the channel.
Yeah.
Turn the dial.
It was your job.
I'm probably not alive enough to see too much of the change in technology. Of course I have. So like I remember from dial tone to what we got now.
Yeah.
But I see a cycle in human behavior. I don't see a cycle in media
But
or
I
technology.
just think about like when I was a kid, our telephone was still you had to dial and it turned back.
Yeah.
To what we have now, it's just such a strange, like people lived one way for like hundreds and hundreds of years.
Yep.
And then like, I don't know, it's probably with my grandparents' generation where like everyone gets a car for the first time.
Mm-hmm.
To, and now we've got indoor plumbing.
Yeah, well, then I think...
And then, like, to what we have today...
Well, it's a takeaway, right, is like the human behavior, the human heart can be placed in different rapidly changing environments or different environments altogether, but still have that repeat same default cycle.
Although, even as we're telling the story of kind of, I don't know, I guess we started with our trip to Oklahoma City, but it turned into a history almost of like race relations in our country.
Yeah.
I definitely see the difference between like my grandparents' generation, what their attitude was. I can remember how they approached things. My parents' generation, what their attitude was. My generation, now I see my kids' generation. They're really different. The kind of hatred that we saw as this little girl's trying to walk into school.
If I threw my kids in that situation, they'd look at all the white guys and say, what are you doing?
Yeah.
I would say, well, their mom's Jamaican, so that changes.
Well, no one's gonna start. No governor's gonna yell like segregation today, segregation tomorrow. I'm floored by that. I'm like, how could you possibly say that? And then
and that's in my lifetime.
The lady's we want him dead. I'm like,
We're gonna poison this kid.
That is clearly that level of hatred doesn't exist here.
Yeah, if the heart doesn't change, then there's brewing underneath.
Yeah, it brews underneath, and it escapes in different ways.
Yeah,
it escapes in different ways. Jeez Louise.
So yeah, I think what we're doing now is we're like thinking about what is still the same, the human heart, what is different, the outward expression of all this.
Yeah. Because if it doesn't express itself in yelling at a little girl for going to school, it will in like these Rodney King riots or even just recently these BLM.
I even view that as its own time. Like I guess George Floyd is a little like that, but I view that as like a different thing. I don't know if I'm right or wrong to view it as a different thing, but it doesn't feel the same to me as Rodney King, OJ thing felt.
I would agree. That feels more isolated than
like there was a general pattern.
Yeah,
and now it's an outlier or something.
You've read the stories of people getting lynched. 13-year-old kid getting lynched, and then he's been exonerated since then. 2 white girls had been they said they'd been raped, and the closest kid was a 13-year-old, and he was arrested, killed pretty quickly, and then they realized DNA. When DNA becomes a thing, he didn't do it. I'm only giving you that. You can look it up. He's like the youngest guy to ever be executed.
Jeez Louise.
Guilty till proven innocent. Or maybe still guilty, even though
those girls are
innocent.
Evil.
It is evil.
There's no
those girls are evil.
Well said.
Columbine was another historic shift.
Oh, that was
Columbine. Yeah,
but it's not the shift it should be.
But I don't know
have
what
gun stuff. What's
meant
schools.
by what you mean by shift? So I can't say this. My dad, when he went to high school, was part of the Rod and Gun Club.
Yeah,
and he would bring his gun to high school.
Yep,
that was normal. He was part of a club.
High school?
After school, you'd go shooting.
Yeah, you'd bring your gun to shoot.
And when I
school
was a kid, people had
you could be in a
pickup
club.
trucks, and in the back of the pickup trucks there'd be guns.
Same. That's how I grew up. That's how I grew up.
That's
and
amazing.
you wouldn't lock your doors.
No.
So you had a gun sitting there, and no one's going to mess with a telescope on it. Yeah.
That's amazing. That's crazy.
Yeah, different world.
It's a different world. You do not bring a gun into school now.
No way. What? Get thrown in jail.
But these are students bringing guns to school.
That's what I'm saying.
And they'd carry them into school.
Like on the hip?
I don't know about. No. It was usually bigger guns.
But even when I was a kid,
bigger guns.
I took a gun safety class when I was like 10, 11 years old at my school.
10 years old. That's insane.
It was a different life.
Let's get this class.
There's a lot
Sunlight.
of things that have changed. That's my point. It's staggering to think about.
So guns were seen as part of the culture, but they were for hunting, not for
like
knocking people off.
Self-preservation, self-protection.
Yeah.
So I don't know, but like I don't know how old I was. I was young when my parents got me my first BB gun.
Oh, that's right, BB guns, and you go out in the neighborhood all with BB guns.
Yeah, and
fired each other.
You just gave kids the responsibility to carry those around, and did we always do what we were supposed to do? No, probably not. But
remember, you'd have battles.
I know.
And you'd shoot each other with BB. You'd put on all your winter clothes and you'd go out and fight. And you'd shoot each other.
So we weren't doing what we should be doing.
You guys are wild.
The point was, when you were a kid. And I'm sure you had it too, so did I. Cap guns.
Yeah, of course.
That was just standard. You're just shooting cap guns.
You know you can't make a finger gun at school right now. Like if you pretend to shoot somebody, like
I used
you
to
get in
carry
trouble.
guns to school. Evidently, when I was small, I'd dress up like a pirate, and I'd have whatever the guns the pirates have, and I'd carry them to school.
That was accepted. It was normal.
Just a different world.
Same for me. It was accepted. It was normal.
Let's bring it back.
Whatever.
Let's bring it back to sunlight.
The only thing I want to say about all this is there has been a tremendous change in my lifetime. There has, and
Oh, we did that too.
Bottle rock.
And you shoot them at
to hear.
You'd shoot 'em
Bottle
at
rocket
cars
battles.
going down the road.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
That's like a felony.
It is now, but it wasn't then.
That's like a felony.
One of the things that my dad remembers is when he was a teenager, they would get all these fireworks, and then they would drive along and they'd throw it under other people's cars so that you would have the sound of this huge explosion underneath your car. And he remembers that he had a friend who forgot to roll down his window, threw the firework, and then it blew up in their car.
That sounds crazy.
Yeah, so life was different.
Well, you've seen the articles, things we did when we were kids that you would never do now. Like my parents had a van, and it had the engine in between the two front seats. I used to just sit on that engine, and we'd drive down the highway, no seatbelt, nothing, just little six-year-old
never wore
boys sitting on the
seatbelts.
engine.
I never wore
Yeah,
seatbelts
you
when
wouldn't
I
wear
was a kid.
Or sitting, we'd take trips in the back of pickup trucks across the state of Florida.
Oh, yeah, we used to do that too.
Sit in the bed.
Sit in the bed of the truck.
Yeah.
I actually don't think seatbelts were in cars till a certain amount of time.
Well, we had them, but they were these
were there.
that were so uncomfortable. No shoulder harnesses.
No. I can remember when we were kids, we wouldn't wear them, but we would use the little snap and point it. It was like we were shooting guns at other cars.
No airbags, of course.
So okay, so let me draw it down to a point for you guys. What's your takeaway between how kids were raised then and how kids are raised now? Like, what's the
Well, I'll say
observations?
something which is sort of funny to say. First of all, my parents had no idea where I was most of the
Yeah, it
time
would
when
be
I
me.
was very young, very, very young.
How young?
My parents would have had no idea where I was.
8?
No, I'd take my bike. I'd drive all over town. They had no idea where I was.
6?
Also, like, yeah, probably. All right. Also, like, if my brothers and I just wanted to go camping, we might take knives, take whatever, and just we're off.
What? What? Just like take a knife.
But that's right.
Take a knife, a
But now,
plastic
like,
bag, and some rope, and now I'm running off into the
we
woods.
lived in a more rural place. So maybe you didn't have the same concerns that you might have in a city. But I think, like, kids even growing up in a city, I mean, a lot of parents had, like, when the street light comes on, you come home.
Dinner
that
was
was
at
just
5
the way it
o'clock.
was.
You needed to be home, or often I'd eat at Tommy's house, and you just had to let your mom know where you
Yeah, so you would
Who knew what
somehow
dads
let your
did?
parents know, hey, I'm not going to be there for
Right.
dinner.
I'm at so-and-so's.
I'm over there.
I wouldn't call. The mom would call and say,
Yeah,
Jerry's over here for dinner.
that's right. So,
But we'd be gone all day. We
But
didn't even
I
take
feel
public
like-
transportation. And we, as little fifth graders, would jump on the bus and we'd go down to the Dolphin games in the Orange Bowl. And just 4 little dudes.
So what I'm trying to say is the way parents parented is totally different. Now, the idea that you're like 8-year-old, you might not know where they are and they're just out having fun somewhere.
That happened.
No parents like that right now.
Would you see them as crazy if they did now?
I think it'd be irresponsible.
You'd say it's
Now,
so.
and they may not be,
So your
but-
judgment
So
has even
my
changed.
son, when we were in New Jersey, he's in 3rd grade or so, and he's riding around this huge block that we lived on. And I would sort of be aware of where he was. I'd be riding behind him, around him. He said, "Dad, when can I ride this alone?" And my response was, "Never."
So your judgment has changed now.
Well, as we'd ride to school, we'd even ride our bikes to school. And parents would let
Yeah.
their kids walk to school alone, and
That I did.
But I wouldn't let my kids walk alone. So the world has changed because every once in a while you hear stories of kids that just.
So
get
this is the
snagged.
problem. This is back to this whole media thing.
Yeah.
The world has not become more dangerous.
Yeah.
In fact, crime is down.
Yeah, but
our fear has gone way up
got it.
because we hear more stories of things.
Yep.
So I don't know. This is kind of funny to say, but the last time Andrew and I were in Israel together with our kids, one of the things we noticed is that parents would just send their like 6 and 7-year-old into the market to go buy whatever, and they would go buy themselves to go get for their family whatever was needed. They'd be sent with the money, and they had the responsibility to do it. How many parents would be like, oh, we're out of bread and milk. Here's some money. Go down to the grocery store and get it to their
Never.
6 or 7 year olds.
So Tegan, never, dude.
But-
No way.
Okay, but Tegan is actually
She could do it.
old enough. She could do it.
Yeah, she could. She could.
But parents
I would never.
are okay. And
Kelsey
what are
would.
you afraid of? What are you afraid of?
I have no idea. Kelsey, I'm scared of Kelsey.
If Kelsey's on.
No, okay, okay,
What
so-
I'm saying is like our whole collective judgment as a society has changed because almost every parent, like if you watch a 7-year-old go into a store by themselves, you want to know right now where's this.
Oh, if I see a kid by themselves, I always stay with them until I
That's
see
right.
there's an
Where
adult
is their
there.
deadbeat parent? What kind of person?
Yeah,
is-
yeah. So if I sent that, so they would say, "Oh,
It's
the
not
parent
allowed.
is irresponsible."
It's not allowed in our
Yeah,
society
no.
anymore.
Now the difference too is you lived in a neighborhood where all the neighbors knew you and your kids. So if they went down the block, you'd get a phone call from a neighbor saying, "Hey, so and so just went by here."
Okay, and now just to get to modern times, I think like even teenage kids with Life 360 or Find My, we know where they are.
Yeah.
My parents had no idea
I think
where
that's
I was.
too much. I think that's too much. So
Yeah, I
like,
never tracked my kids.
I stand at a point where like, yeah, we've got all this security, Life 360, whatever, and then I'm trying to fight against that, but I don't realize that me fighting against that is not even close to what it was. You know, like it's like no, that sounds crazy.
I
you
just
know,
think
like-
every kid ought to be chipped, so you know where they are.
yeah,
So
just right here.
one of the things that
I'm kidding.
I
Till
watched
they're
this
18
thing
and then they
about
can come out.
I watched this thing about Generation X, and our generation was the first latchkey kids,
Yeah.
which meant
Yeah,
that
that changes it too.
which meant that the majority of kids growing up in my generation, when they were done with school, they went home and no one was there.
His parents both worked.
And so even you
New
were
thing.
young, you were learning how to survive on your own.
Yep.
And the thing I realize about that is like in our generation, every kid had to figure out kind of how to make it on their own. And in successive generations, it's not automatic that a kid's got to figure that out.
You know, we came from this conference, Jerry, in Oklahoma, and they talked about, like, there was a small part where it talked about how parenting now and raising the family has become all about just the children, making sure the children has all the sports that they need to go to, make sure they have everything they want. But he said, growing up, I used to pick cotton, take my money and earnings, and buy furniture for the house. And I would go out at like 5, 6, 7 years old into the cotton field and start picking cotton by myself, and then buy furniture for the family house.
Yeah.
And this is the owner of Hobby Lobby saying this stuff. And so he's like, what's happened before was that, you know, the kids were part of this like family dynamic as a unit, but now it's like the family unit, it's about the raising of kids rather than the raising of the whole family together.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah.
And what ends up
glad you brought that
happening is that when the kids become 18, they take off and they leave the nest. So now they're empty nesters. And now the parents turn into like, I've done all this for you for 18 years. Now I get to retire and check out, as it were. And let me just coast for the rest of my life. Let me not do anything of significant importance or impact or value. And he's saying this is all messed up. We need to raise the kids as like these independent little guys, interdependent guys who participate in the growth of the family and culture and society. And then that the grandparents aren't allowed to check out. They actually need to raise and play a different role in the family of raising the family. I think somewhere along this line where it's like this whole, I don't know, the kids, it's all become about, I don't know, I'm not coddling, is that the right word? I don't know, like the babying of the kids all the way up until they're not even just adolescent, like maybe mid-20s even.
When I was a kid, you had to entertain yourself.
Yeah,
Nobody
that's
cared.
it.
You just go play. One of the things we're doing even in youth group is we have that free play time. It sort of bothers me because I feel like it's a little chaos. And then someone reminded me, when in life do they get to choose what games they play? Kids love it because now we have all sports. Adults are there telling them, let's play this sport, let's play that sport. When I was a kid, you just went to the park and played. What do you want to play? I don't know. What do you want to play? And we'd go from football to this. We'd go from football to this. We'd move around. And so that's the closest we've got is they can come here and decide what they're going to do.
Yeah.
So I agree with you.
Let's get some comments in.
because I think these are really good. Hold on, I gotta mute Jerry's mic. Unidad Ed said we were free roaming kids. They were talking about latchkey kids that raised themselves essentially. Brett was saying that before. The problem is that it gave you critical thinking skills.
That's a good
going
point.
Outside,
that's a good
kids
point.
don't have that now.
It gives you critical thinking skills.
Yeah, I think so.
And the ability to like not be dependent on someone else's thinking. Like you have to think for yourself. How am I going to entertain myself? How am I going to take care of myself? Yeah, that's a good point.
Older kids and my youngest, where something would happen, the older guys, they'd figure it out, and the younger guy, Rance, he'd say, "What do I do?" And I said, "Just figure it out. Figure out what I." But
then they would.
He would, but it was a step that he had to realize. Oh, I can do this.
I can't just be told and then just
You
kind of
got
coast
it.
with that.
Figure it out.
Yeah.
And a lot of kids today never figure it out because they're
No.
trying to solve everything for them.
But then it's cool when you see your adult kids know how to figure it out.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the guy David Green, he was like, the worst thing you could do for your kids is do it for your kids. Is like a little saying for us. It's
Yeah.
like if you keep doing stuff for your kids, they'll never have developed the muscle to do something.
Figure it out.
Yeah, he said sheltering has its consequences.
Sheltering
your kids.
Oh, sheltering your kids has its consequences. It does.
And then Nessa said that the neighborhood. Jerry kind of touched on it. Was the neighborhood was a real community. Neighbors looked out for each other.
Yeah, I think a lot of individualism sparks that. Oh, this is another thing that he said. Sorry, it's just fresh on my mind. But like when the kids are brought up in the home and it's all about them, that promotes individualism. That's like in their own selves. And so what ends up happening is then you have individualistic adults, individualistic neighbors, individualistic, everything, right? So it's churchgoers, right? People want it catered to them. Like
Last night at about 10 o'clock, coming home from a football game, watched some of the boys play, saw two dogs in the street. Kelly did. She drove me home and saw two dogs. And we went to try to find these dogs. And they were two little pug dogs. And I thought, I have two neighbors who have pug dogs. So I went to one house, and it's 10:30, 10:45 by now. And I ring on the doorbell, and I move far away thinking I don't want to get shot. And I realized the husband had just left. I saw him leave in his pickup truck. I realized I had never talked to the wife ever. And she wouldn't come outside.
No, it's 10:30.
Yeah, but she wouldn't even, all she said was, "I have my dogs." And I thought, I'm trying to help you here, but I was almost like the enemy. You talk about individualistic. I thought, we're living completely different lives, even though I see your house every day and I could throw a football.
But look at it from her frame.
Yeah,
right?
yeah, I got it.
10:30.
I got it. Her
huge
husband's not home.
dude.
The husband left. Jerry the Creeper's come over.
Jerry, I don't talk to
You
this
got
guy.
it.
This guy's never talked to me. He's just been watching me.
Yep. So I went to the other house where they have pugs, and I rang their doorbell. And I don't know them, but they have dogs, and I see them on walks, and we say, "Hey, hey, hey, hey."
Oh, okay.
And I backed up again, and he
Yeah.
came out. He's just in his boxers. "What do you want?" I said, "I'm Jerry." Da, da, da. "Oh, okay, okay." And then they were so concerned about these dogs, they actually got in their car and they started driving around the neighborhood with us, looking for where these dogs might belong.
Where are the dogs now?
I don't know. They disappeared. I don't know. So this morning when I walked my guys at like 6:30 or so, we went hunting for them but didn't find them.
I assumed you had the dogs.
No. We were chasing them. They were going it was raining, and they were going from house to house trying to get in. And we thought that one of these houses has got to be theirs.
Okay.
But it was interesting watching the neighbors. And then there was another house where they'd go to, and I really wanted to knock, but I thought, man, I'll die.
I'd be scared.
Yeah, this guy.
If you were outside my door with a dog,
I got it. So you talk about individualistic. But
yeah, well, that's a fear. Yeah, to your point, right? The community, we all think differently now because the greater fear. Yeah, jeez Louise. Any other comments, Jake?
Brett, I have two here. Brett said it's dismantling the family nucleus, trying to have that individualism.
Certainly, because the nucleus is now. There's like 5 nucleuses, nuclei in a thing, in a family unit.
Yeah,
everyone's all about
divorce has done a
themselves.
lot with that.
Yeah.
And Ed said, I noticed back in the day, mentoring youth used to be important and welcome. Today, kids look at advice as criticism.
Huh. Kids look at.
I could agree with this.
Yeah, kids look at advice as criticism.
When they're told you're doing everything right from their parents, and then somebody comes in like a pastor and they're like, "Hey, you're a sinner. You're doing life wrong."
Yeah. Okay.
Oh, that's criticism.
That's fair. Do you see that a lot, Jerry?
I want to say no.
Okay.
I'll tell you why. I think we work real hard in building relationships.
Well, yeah. So advice from a context of
So
relationship
now
is very helpful.
And I would say my ever doing that would be a very slow burn, so that the kids that I'm discipling at this point, we have a good relationship, and so I'm meeting with Matthew at this point, and Matthew's this great senior in high school, and we're talking about sin in ways that he's never talked about it.
Chris and Nicole's kid?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, cool.
And he's never talked about it. And it's fascinating to have these discussions. He'll say, I've never thought about it this way. Because the information is more about what's the intention of the heart, the anatomy of sin. The one he really liked was structure and direction. And the part of it he really liked the most was Satan, the structure and direction of Satan. And he thought, wait, what? They've been really positive.
Very good. Yeah.
So I'm sure that would be.
That's probably like a general cultural theme rather
Yeah, it
than
might be.
like a specific intentional
Yeah.
diagnosis of everyone. You know, like that's fair. Okay. Any last comments here, Jake?
Yeah, Nessa, in that same topic, I feel like it's so sad. We've gotten to the point where we have to walk on eggshells just trying to help people.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
That's certainly what Jerry's experiencing
I
for
think
sure.
that is true.
But Brett said, yeah, you need advice from someone that's in a relationship with you, like a discipleship relationship or something.
Yeah.
Somebody that's close. I think that's what we do strongly here.
Again, Jerry, that was right.
That's
on point
the role
with
that coaches can play in our society. That's why you've got to have good coaches.
Yeah.
In my life growing up, it were the coaches. They played a bigger role in my life than my parents. Yeah.
Now, maybe I'll make a general observation, just grasping at something here. I don't know. Test what I'm about to say, which is, I think as we've sort of spent time talking, we talked about kind of, even we watch videos that just display the evil of prior generations. But we all know that it was more of a collective time. There was more, everyone knew their neighbors, yet everyone was rising up together in very senseless, evil, hateful way.
Collective evil.
Okay, but now, maybe we've worked past all that, but now we're kind of getting at but now if I try to help my neighbor out, he might not appreciate that.
Yep.
And we don't even know their names or...
Yeah.
So society has improved in some ways and devolved in others. You know, we're even... think about the responsibility we gave to kids before. Now, it's not like that anymore.
I can't believe you guys were bringing guns to school. That's still crazy to me. That is crazy to me. Yeah, okay. So finish your thought. So yeah.
Well, that goes back to the Columbine thing too. That was a major shifter. That changed society in ways.
Sad day.
And I think what ended up happening is every time there is a shooting or every time there is a horrible crime element, it is all over the news and it's in our conscience, which is why we're so... truly, if you look at overall crime statistics, crime is down from when we were kids. Yet we sense that the world's more dangerous, and it's because we're hearing all these stories. And I don't know. There's we've overcome some things, and maybe society's improved in some ways, but then it's devolved in others and become a lot more difficult.
You think schools are safer? Were there before Columbine? Were there shootings and we just didn't hear about them? Because it seems like to me that's not the case.
Well, I also think I don't know. In those days when you were bringing your guns to school, you didn't have it wasn't in the consciousness of America that I might shoot up a school.
Yeah, something.
So once that broke, it's there was school shootings, then there started to be copycats of that and copycats of that. And I mean, actually, at least because I was in Washington State, I remember this. In Moses Lake, Washington, there was a school shooting. One of the girls that I went to college with, in fact, a very good friend of Andrea's, her brother was killed in that Moses Lake shooting. And that was really the first time I ever heard of that. Columbine was the second.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't know that one.
So, yeah, but like no one had ever heard of anything like that. And now there it's out there. I also think like, you think about school safety or whatever. I really remember this Mary Kay Letourneau, who had a relationship with this, young kid, and then they ended up getting married later. But the point is, no one would ever. It's not maybe that none of that ever happened in school, but no one ever heard about it. Now,
she is one of the first.
We're hearing about these abusive relationships from teachers to students.
Yeah.
Like there's a new news story all the time.
Yep.
So it's like what was so shocking, that Mary Kay Letourneau story was shocking.
Well, and it was shocking too because it was a woman with
correct.
A guy. Yeah. He was a middle school kid. She was.
And we'll remember it because it was like the first of its kind.
And he got her pregnant.
Yeah.
And then she went to jail.
What?
Had his baby.
What?
They got married, had more children. They got divorced. She kind of went off the deep end and died not too long ago. And he's got the kids, and life goes on.
But this was truly, I mean, it's like a shocking to the nation story. It's a shocking to the nation story.
She was in middle school and got a teacher pregnant.
Well, yeah. And it's off in middle school.
What?
I'm just telling you what's in it, and the ones you hear about are the women.
But this is why we don't feel as safe or secure anymore, is because once Columbine happened, now there's school shootings all the time. Once Mary Kay Letourneau happened, now there's these abusive relationships. I mean, the multiplicity of these news stories is crazy.
There's your media at work.
I mean, we all live with the idea that any of these things could happen at our local school.
Well, we had when I was a kid, rumors about teachers doing stuff.
Of course.
But they were always rumors.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
tell you their names.
Not nationwide news, right? So.
No. It was just people hushed it up.
Right. But now, and this is why I think as parents, you're just so much more careful, concerned,
fearful,
untrusting of the world.
Untrusting of the world, yeah, that's right. Because the human heart's not equipped to handle all the bad news of the world.
Yeah. The world's a scary place.
The depravity of the world is coming at you at lightning's fast speed. Of course, it's going to mold your heart.
So it is interesting now that we watched this video of integration, school integration. You could just see like evil on open display. But now there's another way, and we're just talking about this. Like, man, evil's on open display, and so people are. I mean, we're more fearful than maybe people were in those days.
I think so.
Yeah, that's true.
In general.
Well,
so that's kind of interesting.
I think
I don't know what that means. I guess I do know what it means. We can't end it yet.
I was about to say.
I really do think like it's interesting because we're going through the book of Ephesians on Sunday now, and this last week we concentrated on chapter 2, verses 11 through 22, where Jesus is talking about his purpose, creating a new humanity and breaking down the walls of hostility. And I think actually a little survey of history as a result of our trip to Oklahoma City, where we just went in every different direction, does show us how important it is that we need a new humanity. Our old humanity is broken, and it's only in Jesus when we can lay aside hostility.
The brokenness. Break down the walls of hostility, reunite.
Where everyone
reconcile.
Instead of this whole comparison game where one person compares each other, that turns into envy, that turns into, finally hostility, being hated and hating one another. Really, as a Christian, people can start to live a new way.
That's right.
So the need for schools for these little guys, engagement with parents,
making sure that they understand who Jesus is at a young age in their hearts.
Yeah,
building up a new humanity. Man, that's inspired. I mean, if that doesn't inspire, like for a school, like mission, like for like actual, like you every family sees this as their mission. Every school sees this as their Christian school sees this as their mission to like sees the problem in the world, and the answer is the solution is Jesus, of course.
When I was a pastor, we did a church plant. This older community gave us their facility, and we said we don't want it. And a year later, they came and said, we're going to give you our facility, and we took it. So we joined with them. It was an old Miami community, mostly all white. And I was looking around. At one point, I opened a door, and there was a sign, and I tried to save it, but somebody threw it away. Wednesday nights, they appointed people to walk on the roof with shotguns. And if people approached the building who they didn't know, they needed to warn them and or give some sort of warning shot. And it was the most wonderful display of God's grace. And I thought, I want this. This is the greatest sign you could ever have. Come here, Jesus, but probably want to be white.
Watch yourself.
Wow.
Or you might get shot.
Jeez
Crazy.
Louise. Yeah, that's why we need Jesus for sure in every one of our simple hearts. Good grief. Well, thanks for watching this survey of history, and I don't know what to call it: human depravity, racial reconciliation, racial tensions in America.
We cover the gamut.
Trauma, generational. I don't know.
All this started off was like, what were the big news stories that changed America? And Oklahoma City bombing was one of them.
That was certainly one.
Yeah. Anyway, thanks so much for watching this episode, and we'll see you next time.
Very good.
Still live. I still got to do an intro. That's crazy.
What was this show about?
About an hour and a half.
Now it's about something else. That's for sure. That was crazy. I definitely did not. Like, I had zero clue. Like, I hear about little references, but I had no clue. And honestly, I would have never known unless for this conversation, honestly. I mean, what am I going to do researching Rodney King?
You know who you go talk to? Go talk to Cleveland.
Oh.
We had Cleveland on Martin Luther King Day. We had Cleveland come and talk to our high schoolers or our kids.
Okay.
And he's done seminars where he'll teach this. So he's got a bunch to say.
Oh, kidding, huh?
And he'll talk about growing up at Dillard High School, basketball player, and the segregation he faced. So he's
should have him on the pod.
South Florida,
Should.
yeah.
That would be great.
Should have him on the pod for sure.
Definitely do it. Next week.
Yeah.
He's the guy to have.
It'd be a nice continuation of this anyway. So.
Yeah.
You know, I think every generation only really knows its own story. Like,
definitely.
I think like my grandparents would have wanted me to understand the trauma of Pearl Harbor more.
Yeah.
But there's no way for me to really like, okay, it's December 7th, but like how much do I understand Pearl Harbor? Well, I know it happened. I watched the movie.
Watched the movie. I was about to say I watched the movie.
But I don't think like it didn't shape me the way it shaped that generation.
I think about that with 9/11.
Correct.
And just as a parent, how terrifying that day. I remember being in somebody's kitchen because they put all the planes, no more planes flying. And I just thought, will life ever go back to normal?
Yeah.
Well, then you've also got like
and they're like, my kids weren't born yet. So all of them have heard about it, but they're not going to understand.
And my kids experienced it because they were at school and we had to go get them. And we lived just outside of Philadelphia. So we were right, one of the planes would have flown over real close to our house. So we were right there.
Yeah. I had an uncle who died there in 9/11. And
wow.
Yeah.
So that's what I mean is like any kid who's born today will hear about 9/11 the way I heard about Pearl Harbor.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and then there's like Pearl Harbor, but like the concentration camps.
Yeah,
like Auschwitz.
You keep going back and back.
Yeah, I mean,
back.
like
So every
Great
generation
Depression.
kind of
Great
gets bound
Depression.
by the things that are happening in their generation.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not unusual that like.
Well, I feel embarrassed,
OJ,
right? Like I want to know.
No, it's not unusual that OJ and Rodney King just weren't part of your experience.
Yeah.
But they were so close.
So there's always things that shake you.
Even overlap.
Yeah, and shape and shake you.
Well, that's where, like, for me, like, JFK and MLK were just behind me the way the stuff in the 90s is
Yeah,
behind
and
you.
those are so massive.
They're
like,
near.
These are
They
so
were having an impact on me, but
so important, right?
So kids nowadays, let's say kids in their 20s, what would be the events that have shaped them? 9/11's not it.
Oh, it's COVID for sure.
COVID would be it.
It's COVID. It's COVID for all of us. All of us COVID.
Oh.
Charlie
The
Kirk.
right, Charlie Kirk. I'm telling you, the riots too.
You think Charlie Kirk?
I do.
The riots
I
too,
think
for sure.
kids really were affected by Charlie Kirk because social media.
So mine weren't. I don't think.
No.
You're talking about
I'm
younger
talking
kids.
about kids who were between the ages of 10 and 20.
Okay.
A couple years ago when Charlie Kirk happened.
Okay.
That will stand out the way like OJ and Rodney King are standing out with
Okay.
us.
And for my guys, COVID was a big thing because they're all in high school.
Yeah.
Of course, COVID for
COVID
sure.
was huge.
For
Yeah,
sure.
or college. And
It's
the
a
whole
big thing
world.
for everyone in the world. That's like one of the few
Yeah.
things that could be globally
Yeah.
impactful, and everyone will have some kind of collective memory about
Well,
that.
and I think for kids in particular because it changed how they had education.
COVID's
sure.
much bigger than Charlie Kirk.
Much
Yeah,
bigger,
yeah.
much. It's global.
Yeah.
COVID might be other than a world war or Great Depression, that might be the only thing since then that is a global impact.
Yeah.
Because these are race riots in America. Like people in the Philippines were not affected by whatever. You know what I mean? People in Japan, but everyone was affected by COVID.
Yeah.
Brett said, how many younger people actually want to ask those questions about older generations? Most seem to think that they already know everything.
Well, we don't know to ask. I hear about Rodney King, but I don't. Okay, what impact? Yeah. We don't really know the impact, so it's hard to.
Well, I've been saying the same thing about Pearl Harbor. Like, I don't just think. My grandparents somehow wanted to communicate to me the horror of Pearl Harbor.
Yeah.
But it wasn't really part of my experience.
But like our education system will go to like World War II or something.
But you can't describe it just by describing it.
Right.
No.
You can't get the visceral.
No, you can't.
Like my dad fought in World War II.
Yeah.
And he was in the Pacific Theater. I was reading about the ship he was on. It wasn't commissioned for long, but long enough for him to be in some actual battles. And I think, boy, but he never talked about it. But there are a bunch of guys who Pearl Harbor drove them to go in. Just like 9/11 got
Sure.
a bunch of guys to join.
Oh, for
a bunch
sure.
of people to join.
For sure.
Yeah. Every generation's got their.
Yeah, you got your events. And yeah, I think parents do try to tell their kids, like, this is what we experienced or went through, but there's no way by telling it to tell it.
That's interesting because when we think about like the Israelites, God set it up a system where like, hey, you're going to remember this. You're not going to forget about it. And these stories are going to be told over and over and over again. And you're going to celebrate the booth of and you're going to eat this like vinegar and it's going to make you teary eyed and you're going to experience it in some kind of way. Yeah. So in a culture that doesn't, like at a time where you're not writing down things and have video or whatever to remember things, you have like these festivals to remind you, which is,
well, you got like Juneteenth.
Yeah.
Which is an attempt to remember slavery and the ending of slavery. For us, to me, I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
But for others, I'm sure it carries significant weight.
Yeah. But God has like these massive festivals and celebrations.
But I'm not sure we celebrate them along those lines. Like you will do your Passover meal.
Yeah, just for fun. Yeah, just for fun. No, not like the Israelites. Not like the actual.
Yeah.
Like, they'll actually do it up.
They'll do it up. That's good. They'll do it up. I remember just talking to my kids about travel pre 9/11. The freedom of travel.
Okay.
Yeah, that's a great topic. I'm glad you brought that up.
How easy it was to travel. You get a buddy pass.
You could go and meet people at the gate in the airport.
Yeah, I
have
no concept of that.
You didn't need identification.
No.
Yeah, we see that in the movies. We're like, oh, you could meet them at the gate. You could say goodbye at the gate.
Yeah. And we'd get buddy passes from friends that worked at airlines, and you just go to this thing and say, "Hey, I've got a buddy pass. I'm going to." They'd say, "Okay."
I have no
and
concept
you'd go
of
right
travel.
in. You never get checked for anything.
Yeah.
I had a kid even once. We went to Spain, and he had left his passport in his luggage. They had to unload the plane just to find his passport. So he'd gotten on the plane without a passport. International flight. So the world was completely different.
It was completely
And people would
different.
smoke. When I was younger, you'd have the smoking sections.
Yeah, that's insane. That's
Food was actually good. Yeah. But the freedom, just the free. And so you had the freedom to travel. Not the restrictions where you go now and you're like, oh, this is just tedious.
Tons of restrictions. Now they got you with the air in their face and stuff. So.
Yeah, we went through Frankfurt not when I was coming back from Czech Republic. We got checked and checked and checked in its hands and its face. And it was just brutal. You understand why, and I appreciate it, but makes for a long transition from flight to flight.
All right, guys.
Last few comments here. Unidad, it's great to hear stories of the past. And Nessa kind of said the same thing. She said, my grandparents told us stories about the horrors of communist Cuba all the time.
Oh, good.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I understand how bad it is, but I'll never understand how they actually felt.
Yeah,
to
that's
experience
good. That's
it.
good.
I can add to that, too. My grandpa was in Vietnam.
Mhm.
I did not know what the situation was until I went to like a whole ceremony for them.
Yep.
And that was really cool.
Yep.
And then Brett said, I think older people think telling the story won't understand. But what? By Aaron understood when they actually shared the story.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so.
You understand the story once you've heard it and now you're asking questions about it.
Yeah, I think so. Like you need someone to kind of pass the emotion along for sure. Like if I'm watching a video, it's like research. But if I'm talking to people who live through it, it's like, oh, I understand the emotion. Yeah, it's definitely. I mean, you got my reaction here, right? It's like it's way different. It's way different.
We have Vietnam vets here one night afternoon at Bible study. They started sharing stories. And they entered a world that was just them. And it was fascinating to be on the outside watching them communicate. And I thought, there's a shared experience that I don't have.
That's right.
Yeah.
All right. I got to get everything ready.
All right.